All right, so I hope everybody liked the updated edit and seeing all the new layout and animation going in there. It's been a busy week, I think, for everybody on the crew. I was mentioning to Hjalti yesterday, uh, we recorded Ed this week, right? Because I was thinking about how much has been jammed into this week, and yeah, we recorded the Ed Keir, who did the voice for Phil. And the great thing is that that was the last voice we needed to record, the last actor we needed to record. And so we did a great job. I think, Hjalti, you'll probably share a photo maybe later on of what that looked like recording Ed.
Maybe.
Um, and and then we also recorded some pickup lines with Gabriel, who has done Rex's voice. And in the meantime, we have been just pushing through. We are so close to getting all of layout done. I'm saying that very, optimistically. We're very close. And then it's awesome to see every day now new animation coming in. And it doesn't excite me anymore to actually see all of this work we've been doing for over a year on the story. And so many people always say, why do you spend so much on the story? Well, we want to make sure when all the beautiful animation and rendering comes, it's going to make sense, right? So it's so cool to actually see our characters coming to life now. I couldn't be more happy. So let's just jump into it and let's see what everybody's been doing this week. And I think Hjalti, you're gonna start, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So that's what it looked like when we were recording Ed, because he has a setup right now that is kind of a temporary setup or whatever, where he uses a duvet over him as he's recording. So it's very cute. Uh, I should have gotten a screenshot also of Gabriel. I forgot, but yeah, it's always funny where like he's delivering his lines, but you can't make eye contact with him at all as he's doing it. I did a lot of meetings and tweaks and feedback and whatnot. I did, yes, there's just like a lot, it's like a handful of small little things that are sprinkled out, and I thought it might be interesting to you guys. But fixed and added like knife sound effect. I brought back the bitches line, the infamous bitches line. I'm relatively happy with how it is right now, like just kind of shoving it into place. But of course, we have to actually update the dialogue at some point, and I'm hoping that these kind of placeholders will work. Some adjustments for the nightfall scene, output folder and snacks. Oh yeah, I set up those shots for the animators. We recorded Ed doing with a British voice, son of a Sprite berry, my eyes. And we got Gabriel to do it also. And then I went over all of those takes and I put all of them together and I tried to like Frankenstein the best version of each one. And then Matthew and I reviewed it and we were like, it's not as funny as the scratch one. So Matthew just did a re-recording where we tried to really match it and we edited that together, and that's kind of what we have. And thing is, we found out that if you scream this line, it doesn't matter if you're British or American, it sounds exactly the same. There's no identifying British markers. So we figured, and it's going to be pitched up a little bit, I think it's going to work. Edited this lines and replaced it with a new take of it. Also had to adjust it to get it kind of shorter a little bit. I did the entire dialogue for the U tree, which is really cool, and you saw it in the latest edit. We have Sprite this line finally in there, and not only that, it wasn't exported yet for the edit, but Gerard actually made a version for it. So Matthew, you can see that a little bit later. There is oh yeah, I added sound effect for the bat as it's dropping down. It's just like as soon as I saw it rendered, it's like, oh, it just needs a little bit of something. Nice. So I added that there. We finally got those screams, Rex's screams in there, not just from the scratch dialogue, but for the actual thing. Some adjustments for snacks. There were a lot of adjustments for snacks. Camera move that I tried and then we reverted because we didn't like it. We pushed back the camera and highlighted exactly where like the feet are touching the ground, swiveled the camera around, more forward momentum going on. So the camera actually starts a little bit further back. Same thing here, but making sure that the camera kind of tilts down to highlight kind of the A and the B of the shot. Swivel the camera a little bit around just to have it a little bit more frontal as he falls down. This is tricky, basically getting the action of the shot that's happening later and trying to shove those two shots closer together. So allowing this action to already start at the previous shot. And it actually worked out fine. Getting this shot, which has a lot of beats in it that are very important to see, getting it as tight as possible without it being incomprehensible. Some fun melting. Doing kind of a Steven Spielberg-esque hero shot where the camera is kind of more tilted down, slowly kind of coming up as the character's getting ready for some kind of a confrontation. Faster, everything faster. It just needs more speed. Tilting the camera down, looking more upwards. I did multiple versions of this. This is kind of where we landed. And overall, the entire snack scene, I just trimming away frames wherever I could. And I don't know how much I managed to reduce it. It's probably 15%, something like that, maybe even a little bit more. Little pee droplets in Drown. Making sure that all of the, like most of the cameras, to really tone down the noise modifier on the location, I had just pushed it too far. So basically toning that down. P stuff, and updated all the animated shots that have amazingly enough been animated recently. And I think, yes, and a lot of different versions of stuff that needed to be reviewed. So anyway, that's my V. Thank you.
I forgot to give all the good news too of like Scratch and Rextoria are completely animated, and I think you know they're either currently in or done with Andy, and then I think Home Run is done, and then Haircut's almost done, and then Spray and Sprite Village are getting animated now. So I mean this is all great news. Just wanted to put that out there. So we're making something. It's happening.
So this week I was mostly focusing on rendering and lighting. So there was a very little extra stuff that needed to be done. Except there was this shot where we found out that there was one sprite missing. So that was added to the output collection, and then the shot was re-rendered. So that is now there and in the film. And this one was another pickup where I had to darken the spider web so we can focus our attention more on Rex. And yeah, then most of the week has been spent on figuring out the rendering of Scratch and Haircut, which is in total 19 shots. So it's quite a chunk. And I did a first pass of almost everything. There's one shot missing in Haircut. Most of this stuff here still has Ellie with her like non-distressed clean version, so that will be added. There will be blood here, obviously, and then next week, hopefully, I'll get to refine the lighting a bit better. This one is actually a favorite of mine because I did get to spend some time on thinking about how to do the lighting. So I was trying to, as she throws away the flashlight, I thought, would it be cool to, if the flashlight kind of hit the sprite, so you could get like your attention would shift from Ellie to the sprite. So I hope that is kind of working, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week I can actually focus a little bit more time on this. Then there's Haircut, and for this we had some great set extensions from Beau also. So that was worked on, beautiful effects from Simon. And that is going to continue until next week as well. And then hopefully next week it will be done. And that is my week.
So my name is Beau Gerard. I'm from the Netherlands as well. And I started this week as a generalist. And let me see here. Okay. Okay, you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
You probably don't see the player, right? No.
You have to share the screen, otherwise, if you only
Yeah.
share the window, doesn't work. So.
All right. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so like Andy said, I basically worked on the set extensions for Scratch and Haircut. This is Haircut. I basically added trees, branches, leaves, populated the ground, sculpted the terrain as well to give a little bit more height as well. Thought that might be interesting. And let's see. Just getting acquainted. And I also started with the factorization of, this is not a factor, but I started factorizing the snacks packaging. So I'm basically trying to emulate the hand painted feel in a factor style as well. So we have some nice resolutions and some nice UVs with textures. So that's something I'll be working on for the coming 2 weeks or so, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I mean, I think I have more to show next week.
So for the rigging department, the start of the week, I was asked to slap some kind of wing flapping effect on the ladybug, and well, this is what I came up with. I'm not an artist, so don't judge me. We can improve it later, but yeah, this is just something like this. And then the animators can play with it and see what they can squeeze out of this. But if it's terrible, then we'll just do something else. And then besides that, there was a backpack which needs to be rigged for the snack scene that's coming up. So that is done. So it has all this garbage that you can remove. And then currently the way it opens does not make sense. So ignore this, but it does open, and making it make sense will be easy. I just need to spend some minutes on it. So this is all hopefully good. The animators can mess around with this as Ellie is taking the snacks out of it and stuff. And then there's also a million lettuces slapped on, because might as well just do it in advance, because once the animators start playing around with it, someone is going to ask for a million lettuces. So let's try to get ahead of it. And then the most interesting part of the week was progress on Jay. So his body is still in a terrible state, so I'm not going to show any of that. But his face, which is much more important, much more difficult, is coming along. So now he can blink, he can do the eyelid twisty thing, all the characters scan. All of this basically should work. The upper part of the face, the eyebrows, it's functioning all good, I hope. So that's done. And then his giant nose is now kind of being reined in and plays more or less well with everything else. I also have it set up so that his hair cannot clip through the hat, which I hope will be useful. So you can still do some head stretching without the hair poking out like this. His face is very different from every character, even though I probably said that about every character, but still he has no like chin. So, well, anyways, he can slide his face open like that, like I don't know what, like a window, I guess, like a car window. And what's not done yet is the actions for the mouth. So I still want to do that today. So these action shapes are work in progress, because like this should not be happening. However, the constraints here are all set up and the weights are all cleaned up. So this is very close to the finish line as well. Yeah, and then besides that, like 6 different rigs were exploding this week and they're all fixed, but that's not so interesting. So that's it for me.
This week for me, I did the last shot of haircut, where Ellie stands up and runs for his life after spotting the Sprite with the knife. So yeah, to make her look a bit, I mean, to not make her look like a run cycle, I made her struggle with the first steps and add this cartoon effect with the arms. So yeah, it was pretty fun, this one. And it's approved, so it's nice. And after that, I also did what Hjalti said, the missing lip sync from Home Run. So yeah, pretty short, but I think it's approved. So that's cool too. And yeah, that's my week.
So I was animating little by little, getting faster, I guess. Not yet that fast, but little by little. No, sorry. Okay, so I got one shot approved. Is this one with a lot of sprites, and yeah, so it was fun to do all the faces and the expressions, and yeah, so it's always important. The first shot is kind of like a mental barrier, so it was nice that I could do it. And then I have a shot with the Sprite where Victoria is getting the spray on her face, and I did some references, but I will show you just the one I kind of saw to Rick. I don't know if Hjalti saw it, but I record myself and I did this. In the end, I couldn't reuse much because she's talking, and this is what I was playing in my first version, Hjalti, when I show you on Matthew. How she's talking, I couldn't do all these mouth shapes. It was fun to see what happened in your mouth. And yeah, and this is what I'm working. I need to add some cartoon wave animation in the mouth. And this is a bit more polished. And yeah, and that's it.
This week I transitioned finally to the next set. So this is the U tree, which is used for two scenes primarily, like this one, which is aptly named U. I scattered a bunch of stuff around. At first, I kind of started with this part, this shot, and worked on the U tree itself, which is basically the thing that Jay and all the sprites are primarily interacting with. So I made sure that that and the ground floor can be used for animation. But then I started adding more detail, a bit more form variation. I added like a bunch more U trees, which are like kind of winding upwards. But most of the oak trees are still missing their branches. That's still something that we need to do afterwards. And I scattered a bunch more stuff around the moss, the mushrooms, various kinds. In this playblast, there's no grass and moss, but that's also already in the file. And then this tiny cutout of a tree here in the foreground, which is just floating in the scene. And that should be everything that we need for this shot. There is also the other sequence, Drown, where the U tree needed to be detailed further on the inside, so I scattered some more stuff there. I actually split the U tree into 3 different objects, the inside, the outside, and the rim. The rim specifically as its own object, so that one can be a bit more higher resolution, so that all the sprites can have the exact ground contact they need. Other than that, like I placed the same moon in there as with as Andy was using, and I started scattering some more branches specifically for this shot. So they kind of come in and twirl around a bit around the moon like little like scary fingers. And apart from that, everything should be fine. Sometimes there's like small moments where like the sprites don't quite have ground contact, but that can also be tweaked. But that should basically be fine. There's also, like this is basically the U tree, the sculpt, and then with more displacement added on top, just to see it a bit more clearly. And apart from that, there's also like some more various tasks I did. For example, this tree needed a bit more detailing where the sprites are jumping off. This is in the mushroom grove specifically. So I did that. And I mean, this is not the lighting that we're going for, but it just needed to be lit so we actually see what's there. And the other thing is, in the Sprite village, there was still one leftover task, and that is that Ellie is crawling through the bushes, but there needed to be some more extra bushes in the front that she can like slightly interact with, like push a little bit to the side, so that it's not just a big hole. I did some more adjustments on that. So this is currently the latest version. I already split this off into its own prop file, so it can be rigged and then animated. We can make it a bit more lush if we want to, but the idea is that it's like some of these like extra branches that are coming out of the bushes early on, like they're not part of the big lush part, but more on the ground level. But yeah, I need to also further test this with other shots where she's also going through the bushes, but this is the general idea. And with that, the U tree especially should, the U set should basically be done until we get to further lighting and then more set dressing to plus it even more. And I can just move on to the next set. And that is my week.
This week I started like my first official shot, and it's this one, and I'll show you with context. I don't know if you listen with the audio. Okay, and it was short, but it was fun to do because I like the timing, and I get to do this like kung fu stuff like, and it's fun. And then I've started this one, which I was really lucky because it's my favorite shot of the whole movie. It's just so fun to me. Yeah, I'll show you. I just started. So it's so fun to me. Here they say like, yay. Yeah, I was animating and like laughing while I was doing, but I've just started, so yay. And that's it. I'll continue next week.
The final shot of sequence 06, which is this one over here. So it was just like mostly like minor changes on Ellie, the way she runs. Like she's now going north straight to the back and not doing so much going to the sides, and then basically animating all the 12 sprites, which was a bit of a nightmare, but now they are fine. But I just discovered that one of them is doing some funky stuff, so I'm gonna fix that now. And then apart from that, I also started yeah, this cute little guy that is brushing the ladybugs. It was just fun, just doing something and playing a little bit with the legs of the ladybug. There was a big idea of like adding some these pencil lines, and I think it looks super cute and it's fun. That's my week.
This week I worked on some shots. I did this shot. It's when the sprites are coming down the hair, and she's just going through with the knife. So I added some grease pencil lines to make the effect of going fast, and later the guys did an awesome job by doing all the cutting properly, not this thing that I have here. After that, I worked on this shot. That is the one after when she's falling down. So yeah, we went to some different versions, but finally this is done also. And after that, I had time to work on this shot. That is Victoria getting tackled by the bunch of sprites, and she's falling down, and she's losing her weapon that is the spray can, and then after that is what Monica was animating, that they are all kung fu fighting. So yeah, this been my week.
For the edit, we changed the whole system of our Kitsu strips from color strips to movie strips, because we had those frame range issues I showed you guys last week. And now you can see here, you have those frame ranges actually displayed in the sequence editor, and all the editing tools you can do, trimming the beginning, trimming the end, and also sliding like the strip inside, which I'm doing now, updates the actual frame range, which will be then correct on Kitsu, and hopefully we will never have frame range problems ever again. Well, we'll see. And yeah, and we have this GPU overlay here, like this this color line that shows us that this strip is a Kitsu strip and it's linked. It's from the attract add-on, copy pasta. Right, so this is pretty useful. And to create those new meta strips, there's like a new button now, so you can just select those strips you want to create a meta strips for, and it will work for you. All right, and then we have some new stuff in the UI, basically just warnings and errors. I noticed like some animators writing me, I don't know, why can't I do this? And there was like not enough information. So for example, if you don't have an active project set, you will get a warning here, and you can open the add-on preferences and then set the active project. If you then, for example, select an animation type, you get like a warning, hey, your frame range is outdated. You get a warning, hey, you don't have an active camera, and you know, all this kind of stuff that just makes things more obvious. And if like some stuff in the add-on preferences missing, it will just give you a warning basically. Right, then there's a new operator that's a auto context detector. So if you click this button, it will look at the file path and see in which shot am I, which sequence am I, which task type, and will just do the things for you, which is just a quick way. And we have now this look dev tools tab, which also has gives you warnings about wrong frame ranges. So also Andy is up to date, and all the other lighting artists about frame ranges. Then I started working on a new thing, tasks, which basically should get all the assigned tasks from Kitsu and show you these here in Blender. Right now, this is not useful yet, but hopefully in the future we have like an open button that actually opens this blend file. But I have to do some more investigating on that one. And then I was talking to Rick this week how we can like speed up the whole animation workflow. And out of this, some tools were created, some new animation tools. So for example, if I now go ahead here in the scene, I'm just like duplicating some stuff, duplicating some sprites. There's a new tool now that's a quick duplicate basically, where you can just select the number of copies you want, press the button, and it will actually create all those duplicates for you. Little speed up there, not much, but hey, a little bit, but it will make sure that the duplicated collection actually lands in the output collection, which is important for us. Then we have the check action names operator, which goes ahead and scans your scene for not correctly named actions and will tell you how you should name them. And if you press the OK button, it will actually do the fix for you. And also about the whole output collection subject, it's important that all the collections actually land in the output collection, otherwise they will not end up in the lighting. And if you have like that many stuff, it maybe you don't have an overview. So there's another operator that's just updates the output collection, scans your scene, checks, oh, you forgot to put 3 assets in the output collection, and will do that for you. Also, there is, when I'm setting up the animation files now for the animator, I have a new little script that basically imports the actions of the main characters. So right now, if you open the animation files, you should already have the animation for the main characters from the previous file in your animation file, which gives you a good starting point to get going. So this might save you some work as well. All right, then I set up the spray sequence this week, or last week, I guess, the village sequence and the whole snack sequence, which is pretty cool because this is like a sequence with the most of the shots. I think it's over 30 shots. So these are all ready to animate, and I think already are getting animated. And the last thing that is kind of cool, which happened this week, is I implemented sequence colors. So this is something that probably is just useful for Hjalti, but now you can select the color of a sequence, and this little line here gets the assigned color. And yeah, it just looks a little bit better in the sequence editor, and this stuff also gets pushed to Kitsu. And other than that, I just helped some new team members also getting set up and helping to set up the add-ons. And that was last week and this week. Thank you.
All right. So end of last week, actually, after the weekly, I still noticed something that I wanted to fix. We had a heavy case of UV stretching in a very unforgiving shot where we see the character Rex, which is already pretty difficult with the UV unwrapping, on a extreme close-up of a extreme expression, where this was happening, where the UVs were just stretching and the dirt was just all over the place. So I wanted to go in there and fix some things. I already had some tech to make this less extreme, but that wasn't working properly, so I redid some things, and now it's nicer. Yep, so what was that? Then oh yeah, beginning of the week I recorded a production lesson about the distressed character shading. So that's on the cloud now. Then I did another pass, or like a proper pass on the Sprite, generic Sprite shading, because before there was still just the transfer from the temporary shading in there. So now there's a proper pass on the shading, proper paint job and everything to make sure that this actually got some attention. And then I did what you already saw in the sequence that Andy showed, the effects to actually cut the hair kind of properly. So this is a little bit of a hack, and yeah, a little bit of a cheap trick, but it works. You just show it in the file here for just to quickly give some info how this works. As you can see, Ellie has a pretty powerful strike as she goes bald with one swift swing. Yeah, because there's just a shader boolean that just cuts out whatever we don't need. So actually the hair is not really moving down, it's just being hidden basically. And it kind of works because it's a very short shot and we don't really see that much. And yeah, other than that, the major part of the week was doing the actual distress shading on Ellie. So we have pretty much the same pass as I did on the other characters on Rex and Victoria last week. Ellie has a lot of moving pieces, so it was a little bit more work to actually make this work. And this is just the general distressed version. There's still some things that are on a shot basis where you really have to make sure that they're in the precise spots and work to be toggled within the shot. So that needs to be added still, but otherwise is the generic distressed version on Ellie. And I think that's my week.
Hello. So this week I started by doing the idol that I started last week. Well, I had only one post, but now it's a little idol of an evil sprite. So not much to see here, but yeah, he's evil. Then I was waiting for shots to be ready, so I did a pose for one big shot that we have, I can't remember the number now, that has a lot of little sprites. So these ones are collecting pine cones. I think they will be collecting all sorts of things, but this is the pose I did. And then at the end of the week, I got assigned shots and I started messing with this one, which has a bunch of little sprites running, appearing. So yeah, that's still a work in progress, and that's my week.